As you begin to seat yourself on some height, some cushion, you might sit cross-legged, you might sit with your legs extended. You can find many ways to sit that helps you to feel grounded in the space that you've created for your practice today. And I'd like to welcome you into your space as well as this space, the spaces that we've created for our practice today. My name is Tejal Rajanikant Patel. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, coming to you from unceded Anishinabewaki, Potawatomi, and Mississauga tribal lands, colonized as Rochester, Michigan. Today's practice is a yoga practice of slow flow and holds. And personally, I'm feeling the energy of slowing down. There's a lot of brightness. I should just name that it's sunny and it's bright and the days are very long. And we only have a little more time to enjoy the length of how long, the length of days that we're experiencing with this summer, with the lead up to summer. And yet, I'm still feeling a pull to move slow today. And I just want to honor that. And I want to invite you to honor what it is you're bringing into practice today and what energy you want to sustain or create or transform in your practice today. And that could look like exactly what I offer you. It could look like any modifications or variations that meet what you need for the practice. And I just invite you to honor all of that for yourself today. So as we come into these seats, hopefully you found a seat that feels both restful but also supportive for you. Go ahead and start to roll your shoulders up, back, maybe a nice squeeze, and then release. A couple more times. Inhale up and back, squeeze and release. And once more, up and back, squeeze and release. Inhale, your arms can go wide out and up. Palms or fingers touch. Exhale, your arms go wide out and down. Okay, and you can bend or straighten your elbows. We'll do this a couple more times. Breathing in to lift. And taking it as slow as you need to release and really notice the movement of your bones and of your body to accommodate this last raise of your arms. You might rest your palms up on your legs. In chin mudra, a mudra is a gesture. This is a hasta mudra or a hand gesture, one called chin mudra, chin being a sign or a symbol of consciousness, with the palms being up, allowing us to connect energy from inside ourselves to outside ourselves, allowing us to receive energy from outside ourselves to inside ourselves. And you get to explore this mudra for whatever you need it to be to fit into those purposes. I want to invite you into exploring your breath through Ujjayi breath today. Ujjayi breath can be translated as oceanic breath, meaning the sound of the ocean can come through your breath. In your next inhale, breathe through the nose. Feel it in the back of your throat, into the belly. And when you're through with the inhale, begin the exhale the same way, from the belly, back of throat, out through the nose. You might start to feel that rush of breath in and down. And that same type of rush of breath up and out. So about 5 more moments. I will cue the breath that's working for me. But if you explore this breath as you need something different, go ahead and explore something different. Filling up to the top, pausing, opening, and exhale, releasing back out. Couple more times. Notice the quality of your breath without actually assessing if it's good or bad, better or worse. Just noticing heavy, light. Maybe there's sound, maybe it's silent, and the ocean sound isn't happening today. We're not here to judge our breath. We're here to notice the invitation of breath. We're inviting ourselves into a practice, and it does not mean we have to accept the invitation. When we approach our practice as an invitation, it's just like any kind of social gathering invitation. You get to say no if you're not feeling it. If you'd rather stay home and chill, if you'd rather stay in a posture rather than move forward or on. These are all just invitations. So I'd like to invite you to chant the mantra Om. I offer this mantra for many, many reasons, and one that I really find resonant to our practice across Zoom, across video, the practice when we are not in physical space together, is a reminder that Om means connection. Om is a connector. So when we chant the mantra Om, it connects the energy that we are bringing and offering to the spaces around us, to the communities around us, and to one another here and now. So I invite you to chant this mantra Om. Notice the effect it has on your body and your breath. And notice if you can keep the invitation to connect present in your mind. Breath in for Om. 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 Come out of this moment as slowly as you wish. Maybe the chin draws down. And then when you feel ready, you can softly and slowly flutter the eyes towards open, lifting the head and the gaze, taking a moment to release the mudra and gently release it in whatever way feels like a true release of your fingers and your palms and your hands. Maybe give the armpits some space by lifting the upper arms, creating some room for air and ether. And then being sure that you're sitting on some kind of height today, place your hands on that cushion and start to step your feet forward. Okay, and you can press into your right foot and extend your left foot. So if you're on height, scooch to the very front edge of that height. And then I want to invite you to do something really subtle movements. So with your left heel extended, your left leg moving towards straight, go ahead and turn your foot inward and try to keep your knee in line with the direction of your toes. So go in and come back to center. Notice how much your right leg is moving to accommodate this shift, this rotation. So I'm not asking you to go deep into that rotation, deeper than you can control. What you want to do is go towards that rotation to what you can control. And you've probably done it about 5, maybe even 8 times at this point. It's not about the count. We're just exploring the rotation. And then stop at center with the knee and the toes both pointing up. And then take it to the other direction, externally rotating. Now you can see your toes and your kneecap moving in the same direction outward. Now, what's interesting for me is that my toes and foot move a little bit further out than my knee can in this external rotation. So it creates a push to be a little more mindful as I do this. So about 5 to 10 here, just exploring the movement. You might be noticing that your hip feels locked down just from sitting. Like, oh, I think I can go a little deeper, but I'm really not able to because I'm locking my hip down. So we're going to try to do this with the leg lifted. Go ahead and lift your leg. And then this is going to be just 3 times internally rotating. So you might have to lean back. You might need to engage a lot of those stabilizing core muscles and then internally rotate, come back to center. Really soft and subtle movement. Internally rotate, back to center. Internally rotate, back to center. Release the leg and just maybe give it a rest at the quadriceps, at the hip flexors. Okay, so you might need to bend your knee to lift your foot. And then from there, you can keep the knee bent. We're going to do 3 external rotations. External, and you might feel something turning on in your outer hip. External, I feel my quadricep engaged because now we've lifted the leg. So I need a lot more stabilization. And external. Okay, and then go ahead and lower. You might even pound out wherever you're feeling it. And we're just going to do the other side. Okay, so stepping your left foot down, extend your right foot forward. So go ahead and work the leg towards straight, straightening at the knee, pushing out through the heel. Walk your left foot a little left, make some space. And then about 5 to 10 times, just play with the internal rotation. So you might even notice like your toes are spreading and you don't want them to. You hadn't intended that. You might feel like nothing's really happening at the hip. This is internal rotation at the hip. We can swing our legs, no big deal, but that won't create the actual muscular engagement that creates the rotation at the hip. So you want to try and explore, what does this feel like if I could imagine my inner thigh working, my inner thigh working to draw my kneecap and my toes to turn inward. And then you might feel some activation, you might not. Okay, this is a subtle movement. You might have a lot of strength already, or you might not be clicking in that place yet. So when you're ready, we'll just do external. And again, push out through the heel, energize the leg. You might keep the knee bent, but try to look for the kneecap and the toes that are looking up to rotate out in the same direction, like in the same pace, I should say. So foot isn't turning out faster than the leg. I'm definitely feeling pinned down because my hip is rooted into the cushion. So I'm going to lean to the side and just explore that. When I place my hand here, I can feel all sorts of stuff moving because that might not be immediately clear. It might be interesting to place your hand and put a little pressure and just feel what's happening to help you externally rotate your leg. Yep, big bone. The biggest bone in our body is our thigh bone. So we're actually using that to be the lever to do rotation. So go ahead, bend your right knee a little and then lift your right foot. We're going to do just 3 internal rotations. So we're not swinging the leg. We're just looking at that thigh and rotating it in. Doesn't even do that much. It's something like 15 degrees. Okay, and then you might need to shake it out, pound it out after you do 3 of those. And then we'll do it externally. Okay, bending the knee to lift the foot and then go ahead, rotate it out. Oof, right away I feel it on the external. Rotate it out. Rotate it out. And when you're done, pound it out. Okay, go ahead and come off of your support, sit completely on the ground. We're going to do this again. You might even put your hands on the support just to keep it lifted, but we're going to do it again. And this time we're going to do it in coordination with our whole leg. So lean onto your right hip, lift your left butt cheek and hip off the ground, lift your left leg, internally rotate it, and then externally rotate it. You might feel that. Sweep the leg out, stay lifted, internally rotate, sweep the leg in. Leg is not touching the ground. Externally rotate first, then sweep out. Internally rotate, then draw in. Just 5 times. See how that goes. We're rotating first and then sweeping. So you don't want to combine the actions. I'm on my 5th. I'm like really happy about that. I don't want to do too many. I'll be so sore tomorrow. And you can report back how this feels for you. Yeah, and then I'm going to let it go after my 5th. And then open the legs a little bit. Lean onto the left hip. Lifting your right butt cheek is how we're going to start. Lift your right leg. You might want to try the internal rotation, toes turn into the midline, and then go to external. Use your hands to support. That's totally fine. And then sweep out. Whew. Turn in, rotate first, and then draw in. Okay, rotate out and out. Internally rotate, then in. So about 5. 2-step process before you take the other movement. So 2 steps to the internal, then a sweep, and then 2 steps, external rotate, and then external. One more for me. Notice your breath. Mine's kind of escaping me. And then I'm going to land. Okay. Take a moment to just reset. So why does this matter? This matters because we actually have a lot of internal rotators and quite big external rotators that don't get a lot of play in some of our gross daily movements. Like walking up the stairs, we just flex and we extend. But when we need to rotate, we don't actually explore that rotation often enough. And so that's kind of what happens. It's kind of what we're exploring today. All right, so go ahead and stand on your practice space. And come towards the top of your practice space. And there we are. And we're gonna warm up with some lunging Surya Namaskar. Just wanna make sure you can see me. So at the top of your practice space, take a look back, make sure you have a lot of room behind you. If you need a blanket to pad your knee, go ahead and grab it. You can just lay it down completely, like a banner across your mat. And it can be your little target for your knee to lower. That might feel really nice on the cement floor for me. All right, from the top of mat, when you're ready, feet hips width distance apart. Take a breath in, arms out or forward, raise them up. With bent knees, fingertips to sides of feet, folding over the legs. On your inhale, step your right foot back, lower the knee down, and then lift up to fingertips or take your blocks, lift up to blocks, or lift your arms. When you're ready, step back. You can swipe your foot back. You can step it back a couple times. Downward facing dog. Inhale, knees to the ground, chest forward, lower your chest between your hands by lifting your tailbone. So you're in an active back bend, chin to the ground. Inhale, untuck your toes, keep them where they are. Press your chest forward to lift your body up into a low cobra. Try to pick up your shoulders away from the ground. When you're ready, tuck the toes, knees to mat, press into table to downward facing dog. That's an exhale. Inhale, use 1 or 2 steps to bring right foot forward. Left knee comes down. Just like we talked about earlier, you can untuck your toes, come onto palms down or fingertips down or blocks or arms up. Stabilize through the hug of your legs towards the center and then release the hands to the mat or blocks. And then step your left foot forward, bent knees, fingertips to sides of feet, folding over your legs. When you're ready, arms forward or out, rise up, back bend, through to heart center, and release your hands. That's half of a cycle. Let's go ahead with the other half. Inhale, reach up. Maybe you add the back bend, see how you're feeling. Exhale, bent knees, fingertips to sides of feet. Fold over your legs. Inhale, left foot steps back behind your support, knee down, untuck toes, and then arms do what they need to do. Stay to mat, come to blocks, or raise up and back. On your exhale, downward facing dog. So you take your time to get back to this upside down V shape. On your inhale, come forward, plank. On your exhale, lower knees, lift your tailbone, create a back bend, contraction there. Chest lands between hands, chin to the mat. Inhale, tops of feet down. Don't kick them back if you can help it. And then chest forward and up. Exhale, find your way up and back, downward facing dog. This is a left side first step or step couple times forward, back knee down. Find your arms in any of those positions we talked about. And on your exhale, fingertips to mat, step forward and fold over your legs. Breathe in to rise up. Take it up and back, hands to heart center, and release your arms to your sides. We're gonna do 2 more cycles. So if there's anything you wanna change in this flow, you're welcome to. Breathing in, raise up. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, right foot back, crescent lunge. Breathing out, downward facing dog. Breathing in, plank or knees down in your plank. And breathing out, knees down, chest down, chin down. Inhale, slither forward and up, baby cobra. And exhale, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward. Try to bring it as far up as your hands, back knee down. Take your arm variation. Exhale, step it forward. Forward fold over bent knees, melting. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, starting position, mountain pose. Release the arms. Inhale, go wide and up. Exhale, forward fold, melting. Inhale, left foot back. Untuck, arms raise. Exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Take your options, knees can come down. And exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhale, slither forward. Back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, back knee down, arms raised. Exhale, hands to mat, step it forward, fold over legs. Inhale, rise up, your back bend of choice. Exhale, hands to heart, release the arms. I believe we have 1 cycle left. Breathe in, arms up and back. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, melt into Uttanasana. Inhale, right foot steps back, release. Crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to mat, step back. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, forward to plank, Balasana. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Draw those shoulder heads up. Inhale, slither forward, low cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, back and up, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right foot forward, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to mat, step forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rising up, back bend, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to mat. Release the arms, Tadasana. Inhale, last half of cycle. Up and back bend, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, melting, Uttanasana. Inhale, left foot back, release the knee, arms raised, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, step it back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, shift it forward, plank pose, Phalakasana. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Find your contraction. Inhale, slither forward, low cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, back and up. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, left foot forward, back knee down, arms raised, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to mat, step it forward to fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms wide, rise up, back bend, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to mat, release the arms. Hands to sides, Tadasana. Find your chin mudra, connecting thumb to pointer finger. Be in the presence of your practice. In the stillness, tapping into the inner experience of your practice of movement, of flow, reconnecting to your breath, whether it's Ujjayi breath or your natural breath. And tap into the energy that you are offering into your practice, whether it's energy you wish to create or you wish to sustain what you already brought with you, or you might wish to transform into something different. This is your time to focus in on just the energy that you carry, knowing that it is the seed and the starting point for all of your communication, verbal, nonverbal, the way you are in this world. Very slowly, I invite you to remove the blanket off your mat if you had it. And then step to the back of your practice space or your mat. And from the back of that area, start to lift your right knee and bring your right foot up and in. See if you can extend the foot and then step it back down. A couple more times. The intention is to go pretty slowly to find and explore balance, even as you press your foot forward. Release it down. And the last time, see how you need to press into your left foot, draw your knee up, extend your right foot forward, and still keep your left foot rooted to stay lifted, lowering the foot down. Now try to bring that mindfulness of lifting your right foot up as you lift it up and step it forward. So you might need to really root back into your left heel. Go ahead and try. Right foot up and step it forward. Yeah, my left heel lifted, but that felt like a more supportive way to get into the standing lunge shape. Now I'm going to take warrior one. So you might need to inch your right foot forward more. Looking back, I want you to turn your left heel in just a touch, but notice what your thigh and kneecap is doing. So they might have turned out to look in direction of toes. That's totally fine. Press into the outer heel and then try and draw your thigh back in with internal rotation. You might recognize a little clearer what that feels like in your leg and in your hip as you find your warrior one. When your arms come up, you might feel even more pull to change your back foot. So rather than change your foot, which is so far from the center of your body, try to adjust in your hips by drawing your pubic bone forward and up, creating that internal rotation and that glute activation in your back leg, and dropping into a bend in your right knee. In this hold of warrior one, continue to explore your body's resistance and acceptance of this pose. Neither is better or worse than the other. You're just in a shape, exploring it and trying to find the balance between your effort and your ease. Noticing your front foot, really try and use as much of it as you can while finding the back edge of your back foot. You might take chin mudra here as you settle into your warrior one for about 5 more breaths or moments. Trying to contain the twists and turns of your body into the shape you wish to hold. Maybe you do want to go with that flow of turning. Maybe you want to explore what it takes to contain this shape with a forward facing hip position and front body, watching your breath the whole time. Have you lost any of the awareness of your internal rotation? Gently bring it back in. And then with that strong internal rotation, see if you can lift your right heel and then bring the knees and toes to face forward in that back leg. When you're ready, lifted back heel, straighten front leg, and forward fold. You might need your fingertips to the mat or to blocks. You're going to stay in this fold. Right now, the back heel is lifted. You're welcome to explore with every breath, pressing it back and down while drawing your right foot closer to your left. You won't actually move that front foot, but it's the intention. Try not to carry tension in other parts of your body that are trying to help, but really aren't actually helping. And when you're ready, you can step forward or back, reset your blocks, forward fold, head hangs heavy, fingertips to the earth, just outside the feet. Deepen the breath. Play with spreading the weight evenly in your feet. And slowly unroll, come all the way up to stand. Shoulders roll up, back, around, and down. And make your way to the back of your mat. You can bring your hands to hips for balance or release them to the sides. We'll work with the left heel raising, the left knee lifting, and the left foot pressing forward. Keeping your right foot rooted, turning on the muscles of the leg, as we'll need them eventually in our practice as well. That's 1. Go for 2. Knee lifts, foot extends forward. Maybe add a right knee bend just to explore the counterbalance you need as you shift left foot forward and release down. Let's take 1 more. Left knee lifts, foot forward, bend in right knee. And when you're ready, release the foot down. Good. Step it out. We're going to do this now with the intention to step forward with control. Left knee rises and left foot lifts. As you press your left heel forward, go ahead, bend your right knee. Left foot steps forward and lands. Right heel of mine lifts. So working towards warrior one might mean sending front foot forward or scooching back foot back. When you're ready, land the back heel down with the slightly turned out toes. Bring the left knee forward. Really workshopping our warrior one. So notice how much I'm back bending to really find this shape. That's creating a big low back extension for me. So I need to really explore how to contract in my inner right thigh muscles so that I can start to draw my outer left thigh muscles back. A lot of work here. Bend into my front knee without creating a spilling open of the ribs. So there's a lot of things I'd like to focus on. I know more space between my feet will help me explore this posture and the balance I need for it. So from where you're at, explore maybe chin mudra, the weight that you have pushing through back foot. Maybe the arms come out wide or reach back or go up high, but this is your practice, right? No one place to be is better than the other, right? We're not actually labeling our practice with any kind of qualifying. We're just noticing what it takes for us to be in our practice and not get pulled away. Sometimes our practice, like tonight, has a strong physical focus. Sometimes it's as subtle as being present when you're speaking with another person. So allow yourself for it to show up in the ways it will tonight, the ways you wish to work on. Strong engagement of the back glute just to stabilize that back leg and the internal rotation we're trying to balance with that glute activation. All the while, front knee bending towards a comfortable knee degree bend. Exploring what it takes to be in this practice and stay in this practice. Remembering what that internal rotation really looks like and feels like. Start to turn that back leg in, lifting the heel. Try to draw in with the muscles as you straighten up through the front leg. Now you might fold hands to floor or to blocks, adjusting your shape to finally land. And since we'll be here for some time, blocks under shoulders are a nice place to be. And over time, letting your breath really come through you and maybe reaching for back heel to the mat. This is going to be kind of cornered by the tightness you have in the calf and the Achilles, where you're letting go, where you're leaning in. Using your breath to focus back in on the present moment. Try not to focus on the external aspects of the pose. What do your feet look like? What do they need? Really try and get a sense of the internal, the inner experience you're having. When you're ready, start to step your front foot back or your back foot forward. Fold over your legs, head hangs. Forward fold. Use this to move from that stretch of calves into potentially a stretch of the back of the thighs. When you're ready, unroll, come all the way up towards standing. Shoulders roll up and back, around and down. So let's step to the top of our mat And let's play with some of the things we've been working on already. Inhale, the right foot lifts, the right knee lifts. Exhale, press it forward. And instead of stepping forward, we're gonna slide the foot back, take a warrior 3 moment, bend the left knee, and take a soft landing of back foot. Plant the heel, arrange the hips, arms might lift, warrior 1. Exhale here. Deep breath in. Exhale to pivot back leg forward, fold over the legs. Breath in to arrange the posture. Find your blocks if you're using them. And exhale here. Breathing in. Breathing out. On your next inhale, bend both knees, step forward. Exhale to fold over your legs. Inhale, slowly unroll. Come all the way up to stand. Shoulders roll up, back, around and down. Breathe in, arms raise up and back. Exhale, hands to heart. Left foot lifts, left knee raises. Press the foot forward. Inhale, warrior 3. On your exhale, bend of the right knee. Inhale, soft landing. Organize your warrior 1. And breathe here as you exhale. Another inhale. On your exhale, pivot that back foot inward, hip rotates internally, straighten the legs, and find your forward fold. Organize on the breath in, your Parvattanasana, pyramid pose, and stay on the breath out. One more cycle of breath. On your inhale, bend both knees, step forward. Exhale, forward fold. Finding your next inhale, unroll, come all the way up to stand. Shoulders roll up and back, around and down. And then slowly take a moment to observe your practice space. Observe the supports that you have, the props that you brought today. And then take a moment to decide what you'd like your Shavasana to look like today. So I have a blanket I can use. It's folded to a very thin fold that I'm going to use to support the back of my head, my upper body. And then I'm also going to bring my bolster back into play to put under my knees. And I want to do this so that my joints can feel a little bit more supported. Like I'm not pushing them into straight. I'm not pushing them into deep bends. I'm just inviting them into waves. Like you see my hips to my feet create this nice wave. And then this subtle support of my spine. I just feel I really need that today to help give me a benefit of undoing some of the crouching and leaning forward I've been doing. My chin softly draws in. And here I am in a final resting pose, a supported Shavasana. Take as much time as you need to figure out how to find stillness in this last bit of our practice. Honoring this part of our practice that will allow us to reap the benefits of all the work that we've done up until now. You might come into Ujjayi breath and then begin to release that breath to your natural breath pattern. exploring a resting pose.
Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the space that you are practicing in. And you are welcome to tune out my voice for the rest of class if that is what you want to do, if that is what you desire. I welcome that. Otherwise, you may begin to find some movement in the feet, the fingers, the toes. If you're using any props, you might gently start to remove them away. As you bring your awareness back to the space that you're practicing in, you might notice one sound, two sounds. You might notice two sensations. Maybe it's the temperature in the room. Maybe it's your connection to the earth. You may choose to take a full body stretch, pressing through the heels, arms up above, reaching. And you might decide to stay here. Or if it feels true in your body, you might turn to one side, pillowing the head with your hands, your arms, bringing the knees in towards the chest. And you might choose to stay here. Otherwise, you may slowly walk yourself up into a seated position. Any seated position that's comfortable to you, maybe on your sit bones, your shins. And wherever you land, find a slouch, shoulders rolling forward, spine relaxed, chin towards the chest. And just exhale out. And as you inhale, start to root through the sit bones. And like there's a plant, a stem growing through your spine, start to find length in the spine. Shoulders may come up towards the ears, and as you exhale, release them down. Make a fist with one hand and place it over your heart in solidarity. I'd like to show gratitude and recognize the South Asian ancestors from which we have adapted this practice. We stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matters. Inhale, palms up towards the sky, hands reaching above. Exhale, palms come to the earth. I'd like to recognize that we are practicing on the unceded land of Native nations. For me, that is the Dakota people here in the colonized land of Minneapolis. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to be in community and share practice. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful, restful, peaceful day. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.